Welcome to New User Training. I'm Tim Newton, Client Support Specialist. Real Magnet is now part of the HireLogic family and powers the enterprise marketing automation platform. The goals for today's training are to learn how to create an email message, testing those messages, sending messages to recipients, and reviewing your tracking analytics. Some terms we want to familiarize ourselves with are zones, which are elements to place in a message to hold your content, images, etc. WYSIWYG, which stands for what you see is what you get. This is a text zone with an FCK editor. Send individual, which is the ability to send a message to one person for testing. Send to group, which is the formal send function for a message to a list of recipients. And dynamic content. This is the ability to customize the message based on a field value for a recipient. This is a more enhanced option for personalization. So let's go ahead and log into the application. When you're ready to log into the application, simply enter your username, your password, and click Login. Each time you log into the application, you'll begin at the Home tab. On the Home tab, you can find a resource that can help you answer any questions you may have. That is the Real Learning Center. You can access that by clicking the link on the left-hand side of the Home tab. Should you have a question that you know a keyword for at any time, you can come to the upper right-hand corner, click on Help Me, and go ahead and search for that keyword, and the system will go ahead and bring up help articles that will help you get that question answered. And you can also reach out to the support team by contacting the telephone number that you see in the upper right-hand corner. Let's go ahead and create a message. To do so, we are going to go to the Messages tab. On the Messages tab, we're going to go and click on Create New. We're going to enter a name for our message. Depending on your account settings, you may have other items that you need to go ahead and designate as you create your message. Go ahead and answer any questions that you might have in front of you. Once you have all the information input, you're going to click on Create. The next page that you will see will be a page asking you to select an email template. Depending on your account settings, you may have multiple templates already in your account. If you're required to choose one of those templates, go ahead and choose one of those templates. However, we also provide you with a lot of default templates you can use to create your message. For this training, we're going to click on Layouts, and then we're going to click on Select to choose the simple one-column layout. This will load up the message creation tool. The message creation tool is divided up into three sections. On the left-hand side, we have a tabular navigation structure. In the center, we have the message creation tool. And as you can see, we already have some content in our message because we are using a template. On the right-hand side, we have some other options, most notably the undo and redo buttons. In the application, you will drag over and drop in zones. Think of zones as the building blocks of your message. As we can see here, the template we chose already has some zones in it. We have one zone, two, three, and a fourth zone down here. Notice as you place your cursor over top of the zone gets a gray overlay. That indicates that if you were to left click, you'll be selecting that zone to edit. In our example here, if I click on the main content zone, notice how the focus is placed on that zone. Notice also we have some tabs on the right-hand side. Drag, edit, copy, and delete. Drag simply allows you to drag your zone to another location in the message. Edit allows you to edit the content of that zone. The buttons available for editing will depend on the particular zone that you're using, and we'll be going over the different types of zones in just a few moments. Copy allows you to make an exact copy of your zone, and delete, of course, allows you to delete the zone. Once you're done working your zone and you want to deselect it, simply click on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of your message to deselect that zone. Note that if you do not have any zones selected, you'll be working at the message level. While working the message level, there are some settings that you can apply. On the left-hand side of the page, you'll notice that we have a section where we can choose a theme. A theme is the palette of colors that you can use to apply to your message. For example, background colors. Depending on the template you choose, you may have multiple themes that you can select. Choosing a different theme allows you to quickly change the look and feel of your message. However, you may find that you need to input your own colors. To do so, you will need to create your own theme. To create your own theme, you'll click on the Add New Theme link. Notice that the colors are automatically brought in for the theme that you currently have selected. To add a new color, you'll simply type in the color name. On the right-hand side, you'll click on the color selection button. You can punch in your RGB values if you know those, or you can punch in a hex value if you know that. You can also use the color picker to choose a hue and then select a specific color. And once you're done, you will click OK. To remove a color, you would click on the color picker icon and then click on the Remove button. Once you're done with your theme, you'll come down here and type in a name for your theme. And then you'll hit Save. Once you've saved your theme, you can come up to the Theme Selection drop-down and choose your theme. You can also change your body background color, which changes the background color for the entire message. So let's start adding some content to our message. To do that, we're going to come here to the Zones tab, and we're going to grab a zone. The first zone we're going to grab is the WYSIWYG zone. To drag a zone into your message, you simply place your cursor over top of the zone, click and hold, and drag it over. Notice that there's a drop box indicating where if I were to release my mouse button, the zone will drop into our message. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and drop my zone in directly underneath our image. A WYSIWYG zone is a zone where you can enter in text, tables, links, etc. You'll start off with some placeholder text that you can go ahead and delete if you like. The bottom row of icons are where you can go ahead and set your font styles, whether you want it to be bold, insert superscript, subscript, change text color, background color, etc. We'll be spending our time talking about the top row of icons. If you select text in your message, you can click on the Cut or the Copy icon to cut or copy your content. If you're using an older browser, when you try to paste content into the Real Magnet application, you may find that you get an alert warning. If you do get an alert warning, you may have to use the Paste Displain Text, or Paste from Word buttons. I'm going to delete our placeholder text out, and I'm going to go ahead and type in some text that we want to hyperlink. For example, visit our website. Go ahead and highlight the text that you want to hyperlink. Click the Insert Link button. Make sure that under link type URL is selected, and then you'll manually type in the URL. Once you type in the URL, there are some other options that are available to you. For example, you can choose to have the link open in a new window, or if you like, you can make the link a button. You can choose the text color, and you can choose the background color. Once you made your selections, go ahead and click OK. And now we see that we have our link in our message, and it appears as a button. To insert a table into your message, you would simply click on the Insert Table icon. Enter in the values as needed. For example, maybe we need 4 rows. We want our border to be hidden, so we'll choose 0. And we want the width of our table to be 100% the width of our zone. Once you're done putting in your values, you can go ahead and hit OK. Then you can go ahead and click in the table to enter your content. You can also add personalization to your message. To do that, you'll go ahead and enter in the text that you want to be visible. So for example, Let's say we want to personalize our greeting. We may enter in dear, and then we'll come over here to the insert personalized field icon. We'll click on that. And let's say in this instance we want to insert the person's first name, so we'll choose first name. We can hit the space bar, and then we'll do last name, click on insert, and a comma. So by doing this, when we send this message out, the individual will see dear, their first name, and their last name. Finally, we're going to cover how to add a link to a document. Let's say, for example, we need to make an agenda available to our recipients. So we will type in our text that we want to be clickable. We'll highlight the text that we want people to be able to click. We're going to come here to the Insert Document Link icon. We'll click on that. If your organization already has documents uploaded, you can simply go ahead and double-click on the document to insert it. If you need to upload, you can simply come up here and click on Upload to upload the document. Once the link has been inserted into your message, if needed, you can go ahead and highlight the link, come here to the Insert Link button, and you can change the text color to something different. For example, maybe in this case we want to choose this green message background. Note that the colors that we have available are only the colors that we have in our theme. If you need to, you may need to go back and edit your theme to incorporate a color. Now, when we send our message out, someone can click on this link and they'll be able to go ahead and download our agenda. Next, we're going to talk about the image zone. We're going to drag the image zone over and put it into our message. We'll click on Browse to browse for our image. If you've already got images uploaded, you can go ahead and choose it from here. Depending on your organization, you may have multiple folders that you'll need to navigate to. You may find that you don't have any folders that you need to navigate to, in which case all images will appear over here under Images. If you need to add an image, in other words, upload an image, you'll click on Add. You can choose Folder, Upload, or Stock. We're going to click on Upload. We want to upload a new image. We're going to navigate to where our image is. And we're going to choose our image. Here's our image that we just uploaded, and it's already selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit Select. And here's our image. Note that if you upload an image that is too big for your message, the system will alert you to that fact. You'll then need to go ahead and edit your image. To edit the image, we're going to click on Edit as Copy. We're going to type in a new image name. Please note that image names can only be letters, numbers, underscore character. We're going to click on Resize Crop. And at this point we're done because the system has automatically resized the image for us. So we just go ahead and hit Save. Note that our warning is gone, and we now go ahead and hit Insert. And here's our image. The next zone we're going to talk about is the column section zone. This zone allows you to place zones side by side. You can go ahead and choose how many columns you would like. And once you're done, you hit Insert. You now simply drag over and drop in zones into our column sections. Note that you can drag and drop any zones into here that you like. The next zone we're going to talk about is the dynamic content zone. This allows for a higher level of personalization. To add the zone, we're going to drag it over and put it into our message. We're going to click on Create New. We're going to go ahead and put in a name for our block. What is a block? A block is the location where a view will be stored. What is a view? A view is what your recipients will see. This will make more sense as we go ahead and construct our dynamic content block. We give it a name. We're going to create our views based on field values. And so now we choose our field. Let's say, for example, we're sending out a message and we have individuals on the East Coast and the West Coast. And we want the content of those zones to be specific to those individuals. So in our example, we're going to determine who those people are, what those field values are, by going with state. You have some other questions down here that you can go ahead and answer. Would you like this block to be available outside of this message? In other words, do you want other people to be able to have access to the dynamic content that you're creating on other messages? What would you like to do if there's no field match for a recipient, display content, or set up default content? Make your selections accordingly. Once you're done, go ahead and insert. Here's our dynamic content zone. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click in that zone. You're going to come down here to add a new view. Click the drop down arrow. And we're going to type in a view name. Type in your view name and then tell the system what to do in order to determine what is to be displayed. In this case, the view name is West Coast. We're saying that, hey, if someone lives on the West Coast, they live in the state of California. Or they live in the state of Washington. Then we hit save. Now we drag over our content. I'm going to come over here to the zones. I'm going to grab a WYSIWYG zone. I'll drop in the WYSIWYG zone. Here's where you would actually enter the content that your recipients would see if their state is either California or Washington. But for example purposes, I'll just put in some text here to help us. Now I'm going to click outside the zone to deselect it. So what have we done? We've created a dynamic content block that when we send it out, if someone has California or Washington, CA or WA, in their state field, this is what they will see. Now it's time to input the content that people who are on the East Coast will see. So I'm going to go ahead and click inside our zone again. I'm going to come down here, I'm going to click on the down arrow. I'm going to click on Add New View. Type in a view name. And we'll say, in this case, if someone has NY in their state, this is the content that they will see. And now hit save. I'm going to drag over the content. This is what people with NY in the state will see. So how can we determine what's going to be going on? If I click in the zone, I can toggle between the two views. If I choose West Coast, this is what people will see if the state is CA or WA. If I choose East Coast, this is what people will see with NY in the state. Keep in mind that you can build this out as needed. You can add in images, links, and so on. It works exactly as any other zone does. The key piece is being that it is personalization taken to that next level. There are a few more zones over here that we're not going to go into detail on, but I will mention them briefly. One is the post share article. That allows you to add content to your message that you'll be able to share on your social platforms such as Facebook or Twitter, and it'll also allow your recipients to share that content when the message is sent or received. RSS. If you work with RSS feeds, this is an easy way to get that feed content into your message. Social sharing. If you drag this zone over and drop it into your message, you're prompted to select a look and feel. Now, without doing anything else, when you send this message out, your recipient can go ahead and click on one of these, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and share the content of your message on their social platform. If we come back over here to zones, notice that we also have some custom zones in this template. Some templates have custom zones, some templates do not. In this case, our template had a button that is called Register Now. Once you're done crafting your message, you must also save a text-only version. To do that, you'll come over here to the drop-down, click on Text Version. We recommend scrolling through and making sure that it looks good. And once you're done, you'll hit Save. Remember, if you go back to the email designer and make changes, don't forget to go back to the text version and click Refresh and save once again. Once you're done with your message, you can preview it by clicking on Menu and Preview. This will show you a preview of your message. Finally, note that messages are saved automatically each time you take an action. So let's talk about sending a message. To do so, we'll go to the Messages tab. We'll go ahead and choose the message that we want to send. We'll click the Send button. And notice we have two options here that we might be interested in. One is sending the message to a group, the other is sending to an individual. Sending to an individual and sending to a group contain many of the same steps. The only difference is when you send to an individual, you will not choose a group or a list of email addresses that you want to send to. You can manually type in an email address that you want the message to be sent to. Sending to an individual is a great way to test your message, because by doing send to an individual, like I said, you'll just go ahead and type in one or two or a few email addresses that you want to send the message to. For example, you might want to send the message to yourself and to some of your colleagues for review. We'll be going over sending the message to a group. So we're going to click on that. Note, if you fail to do or save a text version of your message, you will not be able to send your message. You will get this error message, in which case you will need to go back and create that text version. So we're going to go ahead and choose a message with a text version. Click on Send. Click Send to Group. And from here, it's just a step-by-step process. Up here we have a timeline where it tells us what we're going to be doing. We'll be setting up the job. We'll be selecting our groups, and we'll be reviewing and sending. On the Setup Job step, Part 1, the Send Details. Type in your From field. If you want replies to go to a different email address, you can type that in under Reply To. You'll type in your subject line. If you want to go ahead and include a pre-header text, type that in. Down here, additional options. This first one here, add recipients. This is where you can add additional email addresses. For example, if you need this message to go out to a particular individual that is not a member of the list that you'll be selecting, you can type that email address in here. Additionally, to ensure that you do not oversaturate your recipients, you can only send a message to the same person once. In other words, you will not be able to send the same message to the same person two or more times. However, sometimes you may need to do so. If you do need to send the same message to the same person a second time, for example, if you've been sending a message to yourself for testing purposes, you might want to go ahead and add your email address here. Depending on your account, you may have other options. Complete the other options as needed. For example, you may have a deliverability preferences or administrative. Once again, you may have other options here. You'll want to go through and complete those as needed. Once you've input all the information as required, you'll hit Next. Now we'll go ahead and choose our group that we want to send to. And hit next. Finally, we'll review and send. You can send messages immediately, or you can schedule for later. Once you're done, you'll hit schedule and send. If you find that you need to cancel your message, you'll come to the Messages tab. Left-hand side, you'll click on Message Queue. If you did have a message scheduled, you would see it listed here. You would click on it to select it, and then click the Cancel button. Now that we've sent our message, let's go ahead and take a look at our send results. We want to make sure that we are on the Messages tab. We're going to choose our message, click the Track button, and choose to track the message. Under Message Overview, we see general information about the message, such as the from address, subject, and the groups that the message was sent to. Under Message Results, we can see how many were sent, how many were delivered, how many were opened, and how many were clicked. To see who these actual individuals are, you want to click on the associated section of the funnel. So if I click on the Sent section of the funnel, I can see the individual recipients to whom the message was sent. If I had any bounces, unsubscribes, or spam complaints, I'll see those over here on the right-hand side. In this case, we did have an unsubscribe. To see who that individual is, we'll click on the numeric value here, and there's the individual that clicked the unsubscribe link in our message. Under links, you can see how many links were clicked. You can click on Click View Tracking, which will open up a heat map showing you where clicks actually occurred. For example, we can see up here we had one click on the word here. To see which were the individual links clicked, you'll click on the drop down, choose Link Details, and here are all our links, and we can see how many clicks were received. To see who clicked an individual link, you'll simply click to select that link, and then choose the Get Recipient List button. This is the individual that clicked this link. Under Technology, you can choose computer versus mobile opens, opens by email client, opens by browser, opens by device. This can help you customize your messages based on how your recipients are opening or viewing your messages. We have geolocation. Here you can see on the map where an open occurred. It is important to note that the open is based on the IP address that we captured, not the person's physical location. And finally, we have domain level tracking. You may have some information down here depending on your organization's account. Now we'll go ahead and talk about uploading a list of contacts or a list of recipients into the application. To begin, we'll want to make sure that we're on the Contacts tab. On the left-hand side, we're going to click on Contacts Tools, and we're going to click on Upload Data. First thing we need to do is select our file. I'm going to click Browse, choose my file. Next, we need to go ahead and map our fields. We need to tell the application where all this information will reside. If your first row in your file is column headers, you'll want to check this box. And next, we'll have to tell the application where this information will reside. For example, email will be stored in the email field, first name in the first name field, and last name in the last name field. Once you're done, you'll go ahead and tell the system what you want to do with those individuals underneath Contacts options. We can create a new group to store these individuals in, or we can add them to an existing group. To add them to an existing group, you'll select that option, click on Select Group, choose your group, And then you'll indicate whether you want to add the contacts to the group or you want to replace the group. Note that if you choose to replace the group, all existing contacts in that group will be removed from that group. Note that the contacts will not be removed or deleted from the system. They'll simply be removed from that group. So choose accordingly here. And finally, you'll simply click on the next button. Thank you. We hope that the training session was informative and that you found it helpful.